Hello. Before the episode starts, I just want to say that my friend uses my old nickname, Ame. So in this case, Ame means Moeka. And so, yeah, I just figured I would say that so nobody's like, what the heck? Who is he talking about? And also, I want to announce that I am a Funimation envoy. And if you're like, what the heck does that mean? It means that if you go to www.funimation.com/MegaMoeka, you can get a free 2-week trial and you can watch some of the anime we discuss on the episode. And it would greatly help out my channel, so I really appreciate it if you do sign up. And let us begin.
Oh, hey.
Hello, speak of the devil and he shall appear.
Sorry, it took me a second. I was like, it's 6 of oh, fuck!
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, no worries. But hello! It's
Yeah,
going pretty good.
I was telling Ty earlier, I didn't even like really think about it, but somebody was just like, "Well, are there two Tylers in Discord?" And I didn't even think about it because I was just like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh no! Wait, are you a Tyler and you go by Ty, or?
I'm a Tyler and I go by Ty, yeah.
Oh, fuck!
I can be Terrell for tonight, though.
Hey, but same, except just TAI, that fucking anime Ty.
Fucking Christ.
Digimon,
here we
let's
are.
go.
Neat. No, the intro should be, hi, what up? It's me, MegaMoeka. We're going to do that thing. With me are Tyler. Hey, what up? It's me, Tyler. You can call me Ty. And Tyler. What up? It's me, Tyler. You gotta go by Ty. Whatever. Just do that same shit.
Yes, hello. I guess now that we have everybody here, let's begin. Welcome to Rainy Day Lounge, episode 2. Today, I have the lovely Tyler here. Feel free to introduce yourself. Tyler number 1, let's go.
Which one's number 1?
I'm taking number 1. Hey, what's up? I'm Tyler. I go by Ty.
And Tyler number 2.
Hey, what up? It's me, Tyler. I also go by Ty. Check it out.
Yeah, if you...
I mean, he should have been letter A.
Oh, true. Shoot. What am I doing with myself?
Yeah, wrap it up. Start it over. That's it. We're done.
We're done. Shut it down, boys. But no, yeah, Tyler, feel free. No, I'm gonna go by Tyler for Tyler Carson and Ty for Nomad.
This seems like a pre-production thing that we should have discussed before.
Probably, but hey, it's this way people know it's genuine.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, this is cut. This is like take number 50. Can we redo this one part?
Carson, that joke wasn't funny enough, please. From the top, everyone. In your places.
All right. Different inflections. I got it. No worries. Hey, what up? It's me, Tyler. You can call me Ty.
Oh, I had him way too loud.
Oh.
Ooh, sorry, I got real
I didn't know
close.
headphones could bleed.
Tyler, feel free to like say what you do, because I know some people would be really interested.
Oh, okay. Tyler number 1, do you want to go first?
Oh no, please! I don't do anything. You can
No, that's not a lie. That's not a.
Alright,
that's a lie. You do some
was
stuff. You
kidding.
do like video editing stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I do, and I help. I currently right now helping out Holden a bit. But yeah, I do a bit of video editing. But that's about it. Mainly, I'm just a figure on Discord and stuff.
That's fine. Who knows? Maybe there's people out there that are like, hey, you know what? Video editing, that sounds cool. I'm interested.
They say, wow, Discord figure, huh? Well, I need someone to promote mine, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, on screen, Nomad once again. Sorry, people, didn't think this through. Do you have like a Twitter or something that you want to plug, or do you just not? Are you no, I'm good.
Nah, I'm good, definitely.
Okay. Just making sure. That way people can't be like, Moeka, how dare you? You're not giving like, you're not showing
feeding
his
the
stuff out.
You're not giving him his time to shout.
No, my channel's far too big for that. I'm actually shilling out Ame right now.
Live with the shill.
Okay, well, Tyler number 2, what about you?
Tyler number 2 does, I work for id Software. I'm a QA tester. I test all those video games to make sure they're not shitty. It's great. I worked a long time on Doom 2016. It was a blast. We've dabbled in a couple other games under the ZeniMax branch and like the Bethesda branch, like what is it, Dishonored 2 we did a little bit of, Wolfenstein Old Blood, bunch of other stuff, and I'm also do voice acting. I've been doing it forever. I've been one of those people that doesn't really try to get into projects, but I will if like friends like say, hey, this thing I'm gonna do, you want to join it with me? Like I always did that, but I've been getting more serious to the point where now I'm the voice of the tutorial guy in Quake Champions for id, and this Monday actually is going to be my first time recording for Funimation.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's exciting.
Ooh.
I had an audition like almost 4 years ago. It did not go so well. My nerves got to me, and it was very bad. I also didn't get to prepare. It's a neat little story how that, oh God, it was such a shit show.
Tell us. You can't just like bait us with it and
I
then
need
be
all
like,
these
nope.
spicy deets. What am I gonna put in my tabloid?
Okay, so I went in. I was already crazy nervous. I was starting to get over my nerves, getting the slides, reading them, preparing for this audition. And out of the blue, I'm sitting there with a bunch of other people, just reading our slides to ourselves. And this guy comes knocking at the window. And I'm like, oh, he's probably here for the audition too. But the secretary just got up and walked away. So I'll let this guy in. Hey, what up? And he's like, hey, I'm here for an audition. And like my mind was like, yeah, okay, he's here for this audition. But the more that I talked to him, it seems like he came in wanting to get an audition, like for something random. Like he just wanted to come in and go, all right, put me in the booth. I'll show you what I got. So that's not how you do it, by the way. So that happened. And I was like, all right, well, sit down and I wait, I guess. And he decides to sit right next to me in like one of the only available seats. And he starts like looking over my shoulder at the slides. And then it finally hits me. He might not be here for this show. And the stuff is NDA. So I kind of like, I'm leaning over, trying not to have him read over my shoulder, but he just keeps trying and he won't back off, even when I finally did say something. So that entire time, I didn't get to read very much of the slides at all. Like I got a once through of like half the characters, and then it was my turn. And I said, oh, fuck. I don't even really know what this show's about. And come in, get the short description. I'm like, oh, great. Let's go.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Never got over my nerves. I was super nervous.
I was picturing something a bit different, right? I was expecting you to say, because he said something about an audition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I was expecting you to say, like, you know, you stood up, you said something to the guy, like, you know, back off, please. And then he says, no, I'm the guy casting for you. And you're just like, oh, like you just insulted this guy who works for them. You're just like, can you please just back away from me? And he's just like, no, I'm sorry. You're here to see me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, I die of embarrassment. I get up and walk out and be like, I gotta go.
If that was the story, I was like, please, someone animate this like right now. This would just be amazing as a video. It's just that time that you just spilled coffee on like the CEO's lap. You're like, all right, bud, I need you to just step back, please.
Oh God.
No, but that's pretty funny though. It just kind of shows up to the place and he's just like, well, I'm pretty good, so whatever you guys got for me.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I have to ask and see, because Joel McDonald was the one that was directing, and when I left, I let him know before leaving and walking into the receptionist's office. I was like, hey, there's a guy here that said he's here for an audition. I don't know if it's for the show or not. He didn't really give me that many details. And he says, I don't think he meant it to sound this way, but he said, oh, I'll take care of him. Don't worry. It's like, oh shit. Okay.
You just see him leaving with a rolled up carpet and he's just like, I fixed it, don't worry.
And as I leave, I just hear him go, hey man, what's going on? Just like, I'm sure it didn't end like very badly or anything, but I imagine just it being a little bit awkward.
Like, your career is now ruined.
Hey kids, check it out. If you want an audition, keep practicing, earn it. Don't just walk in, because don't look good.
Really
You'll mess up
doesn't.
someone else's chances. Well, actually, maybe that's the intention. Maybe he's taking someone else down with him. He already got rejected, and he's like, "No, you guys don't understand. I'm better than all of them."
Walks in the door. Hey, what's up? I'm here to fuck over Tyler Carson. Which one of you guys? But no, it's fine. After that long, I've practiced my craft, and now I'm getting my shot again. So I'm totally cool with it.
A quick 4-year recess and back in action. I understand.
Back in the saddle with my trusty steed, anime.
Yeah, what a funny coinky dink. So, speaking of anime, what have you guys been watching this time around? Like, it doesn't have to be new, it can be old.
Would you like to go first, Carson?
No, I've talked enough. Your turn now. I'm gonna keep the balance.
Well, I know everyone's been watching Boku no Hero Academia.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh my god, I'm just in love with like every character so much. I have to watch it. Like, I kind of hate it, right? Because I've watched so much stuff about it, not only the show, but like on YouTube and stuff like that, right? That it almost became like now I have to watch every episode right when it comes out, because if I don't, like literally 20 minutes after it's somehow like on the internet or something, right? I would just get spoiled if I go onto my YouTube homepage. Like the second, it'll just be like, oh, like I'll be like, okay, the episode came out. I'll check it out in about 20 minutes. I open up YouTube and it's like, well, All Might dies, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just tab over again and start watching the show.
Yeah, no, that's the same for me, because I haven't read the manga yet, because I'm really enjoying how the anime is going, because usually it's the opposite. I'm like, oh, I really like the show, let me read the manga and like ingest everything that I can.
Yeah,
I don't know, with My Hero, I'm like, I'm really enjoying the anime. Like, I think the voice acting, like, just, oh my god, it's so good.
It's so juicy. It really is like classic shonen as I remember from like, anime's past and stuff. So good.
Yeah, I'm a real sucker for shonen that are like, I don't like over the top where it's like someone's already really powerful and then they're just sort of meeting people who are stronger than that. I like it when it's someone who just almost can't do anything, and that's like the entire plot, because it's like even Deku gets this power, right? But for up until recently, without spoilers, or I'm trying not to spoil, I guess, but he can't really use them. Everyone knows is like he gets this ability that's like amazing, but even then it doesn't really help him. It relies more on like his brains, and I love that. Like when the whole moment of the tournament when they're in the race, I was just completely in awe of just how he was like, had to really think things through. Everyone else was just kind of using their powers to just leap over everything, but he had to really think about what he was doing.
He's a strategist at heart, and it's so cool that like the writer, like they're keeping him that way, even though he has this amazing ability that could trump everybody. But no, that's just not your boy Deku.
Deku's a hardworking boy. That's why I love him.
Deku. I'm praying for that boy.
Don't get me teary-eyed now.
Hey, I've cried like 3 times at this show already.
Oh, I imagine.
No, same. I'm just
the moments that really get me when I have to like compose myself is whenever All Might is like in awe of Deku. Like he just like All Might, who's supposed to be like the world's greatest hero and stuff, just sees Deku doing like these amazing things, and he's just like, I can't keep up. And I'm just like, oh my god, this show's amazing.
He's like, oh my boy.
I love him. When
he says, "Oh my goodness,"
exactly. On the beach, oh my, dude, I lost my mind. I was like, he's gonna be such a good hero.
That was one of those tear moments. I think the one that hit me the hardest in more recent episodes was when they gave a little bit of backstory for Uraraka's why she wants to be a hero.
Oh my god! Oh, I lost it, man. I was like, I feel for her, because that's kind of, I don't know. My family's all Mexican, so it's like we're not super rich, and so for like most of my aunts and uncles, they were the first in their family to move out of Mexico, and so now that we're like me and my cousins, we're basically like second generation or whatever. We're just kind of like, oh, our parents did like it's crazy to think, because it's like when I was like 17, I was watching anime and being like a nerdo. thinking back to my parents, it's like 16, 17, they were already over here in like North America, or like America, the United States, working and living by themselves. And I was just like, that's so crazy to me. And so yeah, when when Uraraka's little like backstory thing came up, I was just like lost it. I bawled my eyes out. I was like, she's such a good girl.
I love that they don't even like want her to do it. They're just like, we want you to do whatever makes you happy. And she's like crying because they don't even like, you know, they just want her to do whatever she wants to do. And all she wants to do is help them. It's like, it's great. Like when she gets home and they're already like planning to go out and eat and stuff. And she just cries that they even came to visit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A truly giving hero.
I think one of the like the most amazing parts of that episode definitely was just when everyone's like saying, you know, getting mad at Bakugo. They're like, wow, how, you know, not like in the crowd, but like after the fight. And the students are like, you know, wow, you just beat up that poor fragile girl. And you see Bakugo look at his hand and it's trembling. And he's just like, what part of her was fragile? And I was just like, oh my God. Like, she gave him at least she kept him on his toes. And I was just like, that's just amazing.
Man, he gets so much shit, and it makes me mad because it's like, that's the whole point of character development. If he was just like a good kid like all the other ones, it'd be boring.
No, they have really steady development for him. One of the coolest things that they did was, you know how like at the beginning of the show he was just this cocky, like I would, you know, beat everyone and stuff. I like that moment where at the beginning of the tournament he says that he's going to win. And everyone's like, oh, that's classic Bakugo. But Deku, who like knows him best, is like, no, if that was him, he would have been laughing. Like right now, he is totally serious. Like he's determined to win, and he's like telling everyone that he's going to.
Yeah, he's got like a deeper meaning to it. And I think I haven't read the manga, obviously, so I don't know. But like I feel like he's going to get more in-depth backstory last out of all the characters that, you know, matter enough to get an extensive backstory. And it's gonna break you ever so slightly. His reason is simple, you know what he wants, but there's something there.
Yeah, I hope that they don't take the route where it's like, well, actually he was jealous of Deku, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Like it definitely becomes more apparent later on, but like, you know, like in his childhood how he bullied Deku all the time and stuff. I hope that that's not the route they take, where it's like, well, actually he was just, you know, jealous of him.
Yeah, and I can't see it because, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it would, I hope they don't go that route, because it's like, no, he's not really jealous of him when they were younger, because Deku's just a normie who's normal like us. He doesn't have powers. There's nothing to be jealous of, really.
They've showed a couple times that he's a little bit bothered by how just kindly he is and how he goes out of his way for everyone, regardless of his powerlessness. He just kind of doesn't like him for it. I don't know. There's something there. We'll find out next time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Boku no Z.
No, yeah. Another thing I really like about Bakugo is, man, with his powers, he easily could be a villain and he could go down that route, but he doesn't. And he just wants to be a hero and just gets shit on for it, even growing up as a little kid.
I think one of the coolest things that they do in Boku no Hero, one of my favorites, is that their powers are kind of basic, right? Because like in essence, all that Bakugo can do is just make explosions in the palms of his hands, right? But I think I like how it's a bit more nuanced than that. Like he doesn't just use it for just, you know, point and shoot. It's like he like maneuvers around in the air with them. You know, he can concentrate how powerful a blast is, and like, you know, it becomes almost like a science how they use it. And same thing with like Todoroki. It's like, oh, he has half fire, half ice, and it's like he can just, you know, freeze and use fire. But it becomes more than that when he like makes explosions by cooling the air and then expanding it really quickly. I just like the idea that they take concepts that aren't all too complex, but they make them into like these really amazing things that people can do.
I agree. I just get so annoyed when like people who don't really watch this show, who only watch like the first 3 to 5 episodes, are like, oh, I hate Bakugo, like I hate him, he's the worst character ever. And it's just like, no, there's reasonings behind him being this cocky asshole.
Yeah.
If you hate him for being a cocky asshole, just keep watching for Deku being a pure boy, trying his best. Come on, we've got best of both worlds here.
It's true.
Dip a toe in, just swish it around. It'll feel good. You'll like it.
The way,
It's like
the tone of voice, I don't think I want them dipping their toe in anything that you're providing right now. You're just...
Hey, what up? It's me, Tyler. I've turned into a hot tub for this bit. Please, come on in. The water is literally perfect.
Oh my god.
And once they get in, hey, so have you heard about anime?
Jesus Christ, what a shady product. I don't think I'm getting in that tub.
Yeah, I don't think I don't like this.
This product is not endorsed by Crunchyroll or any sort of company that is affiliated with Boku no Hero. Disclaimer.
Has anyone checked out Castlevania? That's another thing I've watched recently.
I have not, and I don't mind like hearing about it.
Have you, Tyler?
Oh yes. Oh,
sorry,
yes.
I didn't mean to cut over you, Ame.
Oh no, it's okay. I've heard very conflicting things. I've heard some good and I've heard some bad. So I'm very interested because I've been waiting.
It's juicy.
It's
Is it?
so good. It's like all right. So how I would describe it is it's a bit like Hellsing Ultimate and Shingeki no Bahamut together.
Okay.
Like the show itself reminds me of Shingeki no Bahamut a lot, like in so many ways. If you guys have watched that, it reminds me, like, even the main character, they're so similar in like the way that they are, like they're almost like, I'm this cocky asshole, but in actuality, you know, I'm trying to do the right thing and stuff, and it's really cool. And then there's just like these, I don't know, the gore and the action reminds me a lot of Hellsing Ultimate because it's very graphic a lot of the times. They go farther than I expect them to sometimes.
For the first episode, it doesn't happen much till the very end, but when it does,
yeah,
like, they hold
all
on
at once
for it on purpose, and then it really drives home Dracula's brutality.
Yeah, they definitely capture the essence of like, okay, so this is a demon king. It is not going to be, you know, oh, we're gonna, you know, like laser blasts or anything. No, it's like monsters going around and like tearing up people and stuff, and it's all graphic. Like you're watching the whole thing and you're like, wow, this is like insane.
You ever seen the top half of a child's body with no arms just chilling?
Yeah, that was part. No, I think the part that I was when they really got me was when the main character shows up at like this one town that's surrounded by walls, and these monsters are leaving, and one of them has like a baby in its mouth, and I was like, holy shit.
It's
also the action. Oh my god, the action, the fighting, it's so good. It's
those
so
animations.
Good. It's so good. It's so well choreographed, Ame. Like, it's because he's just this guy who, again, like I said before, I love people who don't really have much. The main character has like no superpowers. He has a whip and a small sword, and that is it. And he'll just fight at one point like this giant 20-foot fucking cyclops that turns people into stone, and he just fights it by like acrobating all over the room and stuff.
He fucking knows his shit. He is trained to be able to fight these monsters, and it is beautiful. Even with like normal enemies, like some of the humans that he ends up fighting for one.
Oh, they become like no problem, but like it's still amazing the way he takes. Oh my god, Tyler. All right, I'm not gonna try to get into too specifics. All right, but remember the part with the priest in the alley, and just all at once, dude, that caught me off guard so quick. There's like these moments, I mean, where it will just go from like relatively tame, and then just all at once, it will just, you catch whiplash because it'll just get ultra violent, and it's amazing the way that they do it.
It's a quick flash of his skill, and you're like, oh, what? Oh.
Yeah, so I definitely have to recommend checking it out.
Okay, yeah, what you've all said, I think I would enjoy it. So now I know what I'm gonna watch after this.
You'll probably enjoy his voice too, Trevor Belmont.
Whoever
you are, whoever your voice is, I haven't looked you up, but
amazing.
Juicy.
Amazing. Everyone in that sounds so perfect for their role. It's crazy. Like, the voice acting's like phenomenal. It's amazing. What other shows have you guys been checking out from this season? I think I've been bringing them up.
So I actually, because video games are my life, I went and watched the 2 new things this season that have to do with video games that I've seen all over the place. New Game and Gamers. Both have game in them. New Game is the cutesy moe. It's all girl game company, and they're just making games. And I only watched the first episode. There are 2 right now. It's all right. but it starts off in the first like 5 minutes, maybe even less.
Wait, have
I should have timed it. It was like a 7-10 second like following someone's ass shot.
Oh, yeah.
no perfect. Wait, are you talking about new game right now though? Right? You
Yeah,
are?
new
yeah.
game, new game.
Oh, have you seen the first season?
The first season of New Game?
Oh my
There we
god.
go.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
knew
yeah.
it.
Okay, I was
knew
like,
it.
oh my god. Okay,
Am I
no.
missing something?
There's
Yes.
2 exclamation points. You've been in the anime community long enough to know what that means.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the current airing New Game has 2 exclamation points, and the 2 exclamation points are because it's season 2. So there's actually a previous season.
Oh boy.
So
I was like,
yeah.
he was giving a synopsis, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, he's never.
What?
Because he said, yeah, no, there's the full season of it already out.
Well
Came
then.
out what 2 seasons ago, Ahmed? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think it was 2 seasons ago.
It wasn't very popular as well. That's another thing. I know the people who did like it really liked it, but I don't know if like all that many people saw it. From what I know, anyways.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, regardless, I watched the first episode. I thought it was all right. The fan service right off the bat, I was like, all right, I get you. But it's pretty good. Yeah, no, I think it's very cute that it's like, oh, I'm going to strive to be the lead character designer. That's awesome. So, and I want to watch it a little bit more just to see how similar it is to like the actual game development, and I'll probably just watch the first season if that's the case.
Yeah, I was gonna say go back and watch the first season, because the first season is Aoba. It's like her like first getting into the business.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah.
Because it's
Or you
like
can watch this season and then go back and see the other one as a prequel. How about that?
true.
Extra spicy.
spicy.
You'll
Well,
be
there's only
you'll be
2
so ahead of the
episodes out.
game. Oh yeah, that's true. So yeah, you should just go back then. Never mind. Put my
I
my
gotta be
point
in
down.
the binge. Yeah,
That's
so
true.
with that, I probably will. I'll watch that first season, see what's up. But gamers, whew, oh, that's my shit. Gamers, I thought was going to be worse, but it actually flip flopped. I liked gamers more than I liked New Game. So gamers, I hope there's not another season of this thing. It starts pretty fresh, but it's the usual sort of anime that's like, here's your average dude. He's average in every single way, but he just likes games. And I'm like, all right, that's the stereotypical thing. But it plays out sort of like a visual novel would, or like a whatchamacallit? I guess that's the only way to call it, like visual novel. It feels, and I say that because it doesn't just follow him the whole time. It's hinting at like a big event that will happen somewhere down the line that will connect a bunch of different characters. So every like couple scenes, it'll switch off to this other dude that has his own backstory, doing his own thing, yada yada, and then they all come together at some point to be a part of this gaming club. So the gaming club is just like
Ooh.
the link that will pull them all together at some point. But everybody, like, that kid is just unapologetic gamer. He does his thing, doesn't have any friends, but it's because he just wants to play games. That's fine. There are other characters that play them on the side, and they're like not as into them. There's a guy that pretends to be that way, but he was a huge fucking nerd in middle school. Like, it's got all those kinds of things. That first episode hooked me because I'm a big a fan of slice of life anime.
Mm.
And the second one was even better. So highly recommend if you're into that sort of like just chill everyday kind of anime with some video games.
I might have to check that out.
I would give that a solid like 8.5 out of 10 right now, just out of 2 episodes, because it's just my shit.
Now I
just
want
gotta
it to just flip on you. I want it to be a murder mystery in the 3rd episode and just throw you all off just because you said that.
I hope so. You know what? That would be cool. If they do it in the right way, I'll take it.
Someone
Like,
sabotages the game and they're like, who did it? Who would have motive to do this?
What the fuck? We came together, we made this game. There's so many bugs in here. Cox gun. Who's gonna die?
I'm writing all this down. You guys are gonna make me my fortune.
Excuse you. Come on, give me at least 1% of that fortune. Come on.
I'll give you a voice acting role. You can be the narrator. Can't be the protag. Too important. Too
Hey,
important.
you know what? That's fine. Narrating, that's my shit.
I haven't watched anything recent really aside from My Hero. I actually went back to One Piece. I'm watching the Punk Hazard arc cuz yeah.
Ooh, what an arc.
Cuz the last one that I watched was Fishman Island. And so I was like, oh man, I'm feeling One Piece right now. Let me go back and try to catch up. Which, haha, it's freaking hard. There's so many episodes.
I feel ya. I've actually been reading it instead of watching it. And whenever I hit really big pivotal scenes, I'll go watch those scenes in the anime. And it drives it home. Like in the arc that comes after Punk Hazard, Dressrosa.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Not only did I cry in the manga just reading these fucking pages, it made it even worse watching the anime. Like the ending of like the big fight that happens in that arc. I'm
Oh
dead.
no, that's not what I want to hear.
Hey, you wanna cry? You wanna shed some tears? It'll be great. You'll feel awesome afterwards.
Ugh.
I like your method here. You're just playing like 4D chess. He just reads the manga and then at the pivotal moments watches the anime. What a crazy, like, I don't know. I think that's fucking amazing. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I've never heard or thought to do that.
Crazy. Yeah, that's like so ahead of the game.
Well, the reason being is because everybody, at least around me, every other person is like watching One Piece, and it's Toei, so they're taking some shortcuts. I don't know if that's their spiel. I don't want to shit on them, but it's not fantastic. So, but when those pivotal moments come along, at the very least, they're gonna step it up a bit. Like when that final punch is gonna be made in some fight, ooh, they'll be adding some frames.
Yeah.
So it's
Knock it up
pretty
to
good
13.
in that sense. Yeah, and even then, the voice acting will get you because when those characters do their ugly crying thing, you're crying along with them, and it hurts.
Hurts so good is what you meant to say. My anime sin is I've actually never watched One Piece.
Oh, sinful.
Yeah, it's
Hey, how do I kick Tyler?
How do I kick him and ban him?
Goodbye.
No,
it's a daunting task, but it is worth it.
Yeah, I think it's like the same reason I've never seen something like Detective Conan, where it's just like I look at it and I'm like, because it's so many. Like I know that I'll enjoy them, but it's so many episodes. Like I feel like I'm like signing up for like a phone plan. I'm like, this is if I am watching this show, this is like my show for the next few years. And I'm like, I don't know if I've seen enough that warrants that. Like I think the last like long running thing I had seen, which wasn't even worth it at the time. I had just seen it when I was like 14 or something though, was Fairy Tale.
Ooh.
And I think I got to like 170 something, and then they went on their hiatus, and I was like, okay, I don't think I can put that much effort into like waiting for 9 months for like the next installment of the show. So
sounds like a Hunter x Hunter or Berserk.
Oh my god, yeah.
Their big hiatuses.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a franchise like one of those two that are worth the wait though, I think. Or hopefully are. I don't we still haven't seen, but still you get the idea. It would be something that I'm like, all right, well, like if it's going off for X amount of months, I want to know that I'm like, I will still be interested in X amount of months.
Exactly.
But no, One Piece was just so many episodes.
Months, it's hard.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just lose interest entirely. Especially with something like Fairy Tale's awful. It's like, here's the Fairy Tale. All right, I might trigger some people, but the thing is, right, is that like Fairy Tale has the same thing that happens like every arc, and it is we're 7 bad guys and we are the strongest, and then we'll beat you, and then they beat them, and then right after that it's like, well, we're the 7 strong guys, and it's always 7 or 6 for some odd reason. I think it's because the main characters now each person gets like their assigned baddie. It's like, oh, you're fighting the fast one, that's your guy, and it's like, so like they just keep doing that. And I just remember like a few episodes before the end of it, I still was just thinking like, I was like, man, they just keep doing this, huh? Like it's just gonna, after this there's gonna be 7 other bad guys that are just also stronger than the last people.
You know, funny enough, now that you say that, One Piece has its moments where it will do that. In that sense, I like the way that they do it, and it doesn't happen every arc. Like in the Dressrosa arc, for instance, some of them get their own bad guy, but others, instead of getting their own bad guy, they have their own objective, per se.
Mm.
Like they are a well-oiled team, and whenever they come together in this big area and they're trying to get this thing done, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. Split into this team, 2 or 3 people. You do this. Luffy, you know what the fuck you're doing. Let's go. Luffy springs off and everyone does their team shit, and they all split between, every so often, like every chapter or two, they'll go to the next person, do a bit of their fight or their objective, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I'm assuming Luffy's job is usually, oh, that person just leveled the mountain. Well, Luffy, you got your work cut out for you. We'll see you in 2 days. And then they just fly off to go do their thing.
Yeah. They're never that far away, I would
Yeah.
say. But like, it's definitely, in Dressrosa, they actually use a line at some point. They're just like, no. Luffy's our trump card. We'll be. They say that with kind of a worried face, but it's the truth. Luffy's been training for a long time. He's ready to release that big punch or something of the like, essentially.
That was good wording there. It's like, yeah, like Luffy has all this pent up aggression. Luffy just levels a forest on the way to the fight. He's just been waiting.
I mean, when you see what happens in that arc, you'll be like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
I literally just said what was happening. It's good though.
Another long running show is like the one that Naruto just upset me. Naruto. I think the new show for it, the reason I was gonna bring it up was I was gonna segue into like the new show because I've heard a lot of good stuff about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was saying I hated, like, I started hating Naruto Shippuden just because like it went from like this, like, oh, there's this one guy who can know that, who knows this one jutsu, and that means that everyone on our team are fighting him for the next 3 days because like we can't beat him. Like that's how it started off because they couldn't do anything. They had a knife and they had Sasuke with his eyes, and that was it. And now it's like I'll turn on episode 9 trillion and 6, and you just see like Sasuke pick up Mars and throw it at an opponent, and then they just pick up Saturn's ring and slice Mars in half, and I'm just like, I don't understand what's going. What are these even jutsus anymore? They don't even use hand signs. So I heard the new show fixes a lot of that because again, you're starting out with all these characters who, in my opinion, might have even more like personality. From what I've seen, have more personality than some of the people in the original show, and are also super weak. Well, like, relatively weak to anyone else that was in the show. So yeah, again, you have like these funny, likable characters who are going on these missions and aren't just, oh, well, there's an enemy over there. Well, I guess I'm blowing up this continent now.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, actually, good transition. Yeah, I've been watching Boruto as well, and I'm really liking it. It, like you said, a lot of the things in the previous season have been fixed for me, so I'm just like, okay, I'm in. I
can get down with this.
It's only weird for me though, because it's like if you go into the mindset of, oh man, I want more like Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be like that at all.
I think people who would be upset with Boruto though are probably people who seen Shippuden before the original Naruto, because in my opinion, and this might be a bit controversial, there are definitely a lot of parts of Shippuden that I adore, right? Overall enjoyment, I like the original Naruto way more because it was just like an against all odds sort of thing. It wasn't just, how big of a Rasengan is this guy going to need? You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, there's this fight. Well, now we really have to think about it because, we're surrounded by Cloud Ninja and stuff. And it just felt like in Shippuden, it just got to this point where it's like, oh, this one person's half god. And it became this like almost like a contest of like, who can make the bigger explosion. But in Boruto, it's like these new kids that are just like, oh, we just learned this one jutsu. Now we have to go on a mission.
No, it really is. And then in the context of like, there's no war, obviously, because in the that's what the whole previous Naruto Shippuden was all about, was like, oh, we're at war, we gotta stop the war. So yeah, it's like it's these kids in a peaceful era, and so obviously when there's no war, there's no real reason to teach kids like, hey, you gotta be a killing machine. You'll never know when the water clan comes in and like suffocates you in your sleep or whatever.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because like you're right. It wasn't until looking at Boruto that I realized how fucked up like Naruto's society was. It
Oh,
was like, oh, you're
yeah.
10. Well, now you're ready to kill, aren't you? And it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that? It's your 9th birthday. Well, you're off to ninja school. Are you ready to strangle a grown man?
Hey,
It's
Naruto,
like-
sorry you had to see me get fucking stabbed in the spine and almost die right in front of you. Real quick, did you learn that jutsu? Because
Yeah.
need some help. I'm gonna take a nap for a bit.
I just love that
Bye.
Kakashi, this grown man, takes all these toddlers out to go fight other grown men who kill kids.
Mhm.
He's just like, Sasuke, you can throw a knife, right? And Sasuke throws a knife 2 feet in front of him. He's like, all right, good enough. Come on, we're going to go fight.
Nice.
And, like-
Sakura, can you punch? Ha! Yeah, that sure was a jab. Let's go, I guess.
You have a lot of spirit. That'll scare him off.
Spunky.
In Boruto, yeah, you're right. There's like this world that's all peaceful now, and like instead of these kids who every day are training to be ready for the day that the Sand Village comes and tries to kill everyone, it's like now they'll just have these like scenes of Boruto playing on an off-brand Game Boy and like cheating on it and stuff, and you're like, this is amazing. You're like Naruto didn't have this childhood. Naruto was too busy being lonely on a swing set. He didn't have to do this.
Yeah, it was like he was a orphan. He grew up all on his own.
Naruto's gonna turn into the back in my day fucking dad at some point.
I love how Naruto's just this terrible father as well. Like,
Oh, is he? Oh,
No,
God.
well,
he's
yeah.
a really bad dad. There's a reason for it, but it's still like hilarious how bad of a father he is, right?
Yeah,
because, like-
sorry, go on, you tell it.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say my favorite part was at his daughter's birthday party when he's walking the cake over to like his daughter, and then he just poofs and the cake falls on the floor because he was too busy working, so he sent a shadow clone out to
Oh no!
and he just straight up ran out of chakra because constantly around the Leaf Village now there's about 100 Narutos going around and doing stuff.
Oh my
So, like,
God.
So yeah, he ran out of chakra. He was just you just see him like laying on the floor in his like office because he was like, which is just so mental for like so many reasons. Aside from the fact that like, why not keep the shadow clone at the office and you go to the party? There's so many reasons why he shouldn't have done it. But yeah, it was just this funny thing of like, and like Boruto hates him because he's just like, he's never here for us. And then Hinata's like this domesticated housewife who's like, you don't understand. He loves us. Last year he called about like, it's crazy.
Have they had an episode where they're like, "Hey, Naruto's got it tough, but he's trying"?
Oh no, the movie's about that. The movie's about them two like understanding each other and stuff, and like Naruto single-handedly brought about peace between like all these nations. Yeah, it was like that whole arc at the end where Sasuke was just basically going to become like the dominant force and just control everyone. But no, Naruto ended up winning, and he just used just democracy and like bureaucracy to just bring everyone together and stuff. So yeah, he's constantly like working on stuff like that. Also, you see this pretty cool moment where Boruto gets like a bit more respect for his father in the movie, where it's like, to him, Naruto's like this old man who just, does work all day. And then in the movie, he like fights with Sasuke and he realizes his dad is like an actual god who just can move mountains. Like before, he thought like if him and his dad got in a fight, it would be like sort of 50-50. And then he just sees him and he's like, holy shit, sorry, Yame, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say no. Yeah, even in the anime, there was finally an episode where that happened, because I was gonna say, God, Boruto is such a little brat, but
I love Boruto. I love him.
yeah, it's
so
like I
much.
love him, but at the same time, I'm just like, because I know like it's like watching Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. It's like, oh, I watched this kid grow up, like this orphan, go from nothing to like Hokage. Like he achieved
God
his
King.
dream. And then, yeah, it's like now it's peaceful and there's no real reason to fight. And then you just got this kid that's like, my dad's not here. He feeds me and he like
it's
provides.
Dad?
And it's like, no, I do feel for him, but at the same time, it's just like, if only you knew.
Yeah, it's like you just want to send them a box set, and you're like, your dad went through hell and back. I don't think you understand. It's like your dad is inhuman. He's fixed the world. I'm sorry, he's not there for your birthday party.
Someone's gonna come up and be like, "Listen, Boruto, I've got to tell you, your dad, Boruto, fuck you." He just like pulls out a video camera, shows him some shit or something, and just goes, "That's your goddamn dad."
Yeah, he just pulls out a DVD, and it's just like Naruto, the third movie, and he's like, "Well, this is when Naruto's leg was made of stone, and he was like stabbed in the stomach, and he still puts a Rasengan like on the guy," and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
But no,
Meanwhile,
but
Naruto gets upset because like, oh, Dad didn't want to go ride bikes today.
Naruto, what are you doing?
Could have turned that into an endearing episode where he goes there, but instead of the clone poofing, Naruto runs out of chakra and just like falls face first into the cake, and everyone's like, "Naruto, what are you doing?"
Yeah, and then just a laugh track, and they say Naruto was filmed in front of a live studio audience,
Oh
and you're
my
like, wow,
Everywhere you
this show.
look. It's a Japanese version of the Full House theme.
No, that's how that whole episode was like, oh yeah, like, oh man, look, Naruto's actually trying. What a good man. And then the poof, that was just, that for me was the funniest thing. I lost it. Ugh.
I'm gonna take a sidestep real quick. This is how you know an anime is good. If you're making audible, especially if you're watching it alone, and you're watching some episode of something, and you are audibly saying things out loud because of what's happening.
Yes,
That sounds like something I would go, "Oh no!" at.
Yeah.
Like I would literally make that voice and everything. Because I will say, gamers watching that, I did do that like a couple times actually. I'm just like, what are these kids doing? It's how you know.
It's true.
Do it the same way with My Hero. When
Mhm.
Definitely.
when Deku's doing those flicks, I'm like, boy, get it! Come on!
I lost my mind when Deku like throws the big metal plate like on the floor and blows himself across. I lost my mind. I actually like sat up and like threw my hands in the air. That was like the only moment where I couldn't control it. I was just it was so hype. It felt like I was, this 9-year-old watching DBZ and like punching pillows in the room. Like it was so hype. You just like felt it. You were like, oh my god, because I think it just made it so much better that everyone's walking by him and like, what a crazy person. And then he just does that and flings to #1. And I was just so fucking, oh my god. Spoilers, by the way. It's a shame. Too late.
Too late.
Go watch the show. Go watch the show.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
They won't understand.
That's the episode that's going to make everyone else be just like All Might, where you address him as my boy, Deku. He's all of our sons.
Yeah, there's so much about like the recent, because like I loved season 1, like I loved it, and season 2 is just infinitely better. Like it's so good for so many reasons. Like I was already happy when I saw it was gonna be a tournament arc, but then they pulled it off so well. Like it was, oh god, I loved it.
They had a perfect balance of like driving home the big points and showing off the other fights, but not doing it for too long. Just showing I don't know, like instead of just skipping other fights completely, ones that you would think, oh, this will probably be over really quick. They'll show you, and they'll show you just how crazy powerful some of the other ones are compared to, other heroes.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
I like when Tenya beat like, I think when Tenya beat the girl with with all the tech and stuff, because it was just this amazing episode of her for like 20 minutes straight just dancing around him and then just leaving the ring on her own. And it was so bad. You just felt so much for this guy who just got played to be a walking advertisement.
Ida, I'm so sorry.
And it just proves that like all she had were these gadgets and she could have easily beaten him. She just wanted to sell her products and leave. It was amazing. Yeah, I love that character a lot. I love that she was only around for like two episodes or something. Like
it wasn't very long.
Yeah, but I like that character. It was just I like little scenes like that though. Again, where you just like it would be super irrelevant. Like if they could have just said, "Oh, it was this fight and Tenya won," but like I don't know, they gave it like, "Oh, this is what happened," and like now that character has like personality.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I think that's what I really like about My Hero is the first season is like a big introductory, like, oh, here's the character, here's like why he's special all of a sudden. If you've read the manga, I could see where people are like, oh, this is so slow, because I've heard the manga, like the beginning or whatever is goes by super quickly. Like it's a few
Yeah.
pages and then you're in the next like arc or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
I've
could see where those people would be bored, but man, once you're out of that, it's like I feel like this is my problem with a lot of anime that are set in like high school times or whatever, is it's like, oh yeah, here we are, we're at school, we've learned our powers. Oh, hey, look, we're gonna beat this like super impressive bad guy, and now we're back in school, and that's where we're gonna be stuck for the next like 3 seasons. And with My
Yeah.
Hero, there's actually progression, like not only with the like character development, in the environment as well.
Whether it's at school doing things on the side or like in the classes
Yeah.
or whatever, like they all
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
their time to shine.
She's saying that there's like this natural progression. They go from first like trying to get into the school, and then they become students at the school, and they have that whole thing at the end of the first season where they were like, you know, testing what like habitats their abilities work best in, and then it's like it turns into this tournament, and now it's like they're in internships. So like I like that. Yeah, there's like this progression of like what, you know, it's not just we're back in school and then something happens outside of school. It's like they're like progressing as students and as heroes. There's also this other cool thing. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but like the openings, right? They
Mhm.
all start off with All Might and Deku, but there's like a noticeable transition like of their positions and stuff like that, and like what they're doing. So what I've heard is like essentially the first opening is like All Might is turned around, and there's like this, you know, all these sparkles around him and a light and stuff like that, and Deku's kind of reaching out to him, so he's still like, you know, this like big figure that he wants to be. And then in the second opening, there's, I think it was like Deku standing on top of a building and All Might's flying past in the sky, and he's, you know, like, you know, confident, and he's watching All Might, and now they're, you know, it's not like a dream anymore, you know what I'm saying? He's still like his hero, but it's like it's a tangible thing, like they actually are, you know, like within the same like realm of possibility, like him being a hero like that. And now in the third opening, which was just amazing, is, you know, Deku's like determined and he looks like a hero, and All Might lands in front of him, like directly in front of him, and they just like grab hands together, and like you just realize that like they're not equals yet, but he's trying to become, you know, like the symbol of peace, like All Might. Like it's this progression that he is like fulfilling, like that original, like, you know, All Might wants him to be the next All Might essentially. And even though he's coming into it on his own, right? Like he's not trying to be All Might anymore. As you guys have seen, it's like he's trying to be a hero. You know, he's his own person. He, you know, he wants to take the title from All Might now, you know, and like be, you know, kind of like the heir to the hero throne. But it's just cool that you see this progression of a character. Deku is like nowhere close to what he used to be in the first few episodes, or even like the beginning of the second season with like the recent events.
And he still has so much potential.
Oh
It's
yeah,
wild. When they start talking about percentages of his power, et cetera, et
5.
cetera.
Oh my god.
But hey, just use 5% all the time. Give
Yeah.
that a go. Oh shit, I'm awesome. And like, damn, I can't wait to see when he can like turn it up to the next level. You know what I mean? Hey, got good character development.
They know how to turn anime into real life. I've seen some scenes from K-dramas that like are just, they're shot like as if they took the storyboards from an anime, and was like, you know, like those like rom-coms for K-dramas and stuff. Yeah, they basically just try to mirror it after. It's like they just watch like Kimi no Todoke and they're like, all right, put this on TV.
Good camera work. You can make or break a movie or a show.
Oh, speaking of live action, what do you guys think about Death Note? The upcoming Death Note.
Oh man,
It's
I'm gonna
really
watch that
soon.
day one. And
Are you
at the
excited?
very least, Willem Dafoe as my little demon man. I think that's gonna be the best part of the movie, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's a movie, right? I thought it was a show. Is it
I
a
think
show?
it's. I thought it was a movie. I'm not
No,
sure. I
it'll
think
probably be a movie. I don't know. I thought it was a show, but it could very well possibly be a movie.
They really didn't like
Specify.
specify, so that's why I'm like, I have no idea.
it says 2017 film. So
Okay, yeah, so it's definitely a movie.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember when it first came out, people were making it like, because they didn't really specify at all, they made it sound like it was gonna be a show.
yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be a movie.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. There's like, I think if there was one thing that they changed, I would totally adore everything about it. And it was like, just why did they have to make it like the same story? Like, or they try, you know, like, of course it's not going to be anywhere close to how things really play out, right? But why did they
Mhm.
try to do that? Why didn't they just make this like maybe it wouldn't even have to be set in the same world, but like if the Death Note landed somewhere else, you know, it would only take them just changing a few people's names. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been like the exact. It would have been so amazing to see like, oh, this is what would have happened if it landed in the U.S. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And that would just make it like, I feel like it would just up my. But like, it's the fact that it's supposed to be like not an adaptation, but it's still, you know, like they use all the same names, and like he's gonna be Kira, which like I don't know. It's
I definitely agree, because it's like, it's so loosely based that it's like,
Mhm.
man, you could have just turned this into like more of an original thing.
I think it's mostly just whenever people get a hold of like rights to do sorts of things like that, it becomes a sort of, I mean, a sort of dream that's like, man, I loved this thing. This thing was really good. But what if instead of this turning point where they were all stuck in a fucking investigation room surrounded by people and Light was like sort of constantly cornered all the time, what if we did something different? I think that's what the main pull is going to be. He's not going to be surrounded by police and investigators or something like that. They might take another turn.
Yeah, I
I
think they're
mean,
gonna go more moral based. I think like because in the little clips that I've seen, I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet, but there's a clip already of like the moment just before he uses the Death Note, and it's a bit underwhelming. I think what they wanted to go for was this idea of like, you know, like, oh, should I actually use it? But man, you should just see what happens like in this clip. It's basically, you know, like this Grim Reaper just kind of says like, you should use this, and he goes no, and then he says you should use this, and he goes okay, give me a pen. And like you're like, oh, it's like that was pretty quick. He's pretty quick to sentence someone to death, and it's like the person that he's sentencing is like he's like the death god or whatever just kind of opens the curtain and he goes look, and there's like this girl being bullied, and I'm not for bullies, but like the fact that like all they did was like knock her books to the ground, and then the guy's like kill him, and then you know the main character's like all right, and his friend. You know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel like. I just don't think that if it is just a movie, I feel like they're not gonna have enough time to really flesh out all these intricacies that were in the anime. The Death Note has more weight than, you know, being Kira isn't this like, oh, now I'm a hero. You know, it was a person who was like fully conscientious of like what he was doing, and like, you know, and it was not really a moral dilemma because he becomes almost, you know, kind of too infatuated with his power, but you get the idea. It's more nuanced than I can kill people and fix everything now. And it was, you know, I feel like in the movie they're gonna have, since it's just the movie, they're gonna have to just kind of gloss over it. They're like, you know, this kid's just gonna go from like not killing people to getting the book and being like, now I can murder everyone.
So now that I know that for sure that it's a film, I know it won't be able to cover everything then.
Yeah, I just can't see it. They would have to. It would have to be like 2 hours, and like still, it would just kind of be like, I don't know. I just really couldn't see it. Yeah.
I think they can pull it off, but I think the way that they're going to pull it off is trailers don't always say most movies like 100%. So
Yeah.
if it's going to be different than the trailer, then probably it's going to be a movie half based on here's Light, here's why you should give a shit about his plight and what he wants to use the book for. And then here's L. Here's why he wants to fucking stop this piece of shit. And then there's going to be some sort of clash. And then they won't go into anybody else. Everyone else will be just on the side for the sake of just them two to clash. At the very most, Ryuk will be there to just give his one-liners to Light and be like, "Well, kid, I can't help you here. You fucked yourself. Don't know what you were expecting. Bye." I'll take
Those are some actually my favorite parts from the anime. It's just like, you know, he's in a pinch and you just kind of see that like they're not really friends. They just sort of have like the symbiotic thing going on.
It's true.
I think what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what about L in the show? I think or in the movie, I meant to say L in like the movie upcoming, right? Because before he was like this young genius who was like this sort of like recluse and didn't tell anyone his name and stuff. But in the movie, you see like these two teenagers sitting in a cafe, and then there's just one sitting on the chair, like standing on the chair but kneeling, and he doesn't seem like he was too expressive to be L. Like L was like this, you know, almost like a human computer, right? In the sense that he was always trying to stay one step ahead of this person who, in all actuality, shouldn't even exist. The person who can just murder people like seemingly for no reason. But there's like little clips again where you'll just kind of see these two talking. In like the movie, it seems that L's sort of like I'm gonna get you. You're not gonna get away with this. And I feel like they kind of overdid it. Whoever was writing for it, or like, you know, whoever's behind this, I feel like they kind of saw that and they're like, oh, so that's his arch nemesis, huh? And I feel like it's a bit more nuanced than that again. I don't know. I feel like they're not going to do him right because, you know, L was like one of my favorite parts from the show. You know, it was this constant mental battle that the two were having, and now he's just going to turn into like this, you know, this guy who stands on chairs.
I'm a detective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you.
He's gonna put his Sherlock Holmes hat on and says, "There you go, solved." You think they're gonna kill L in the movie?
I hope not.
I feel like if they did, it wouldn't have as much of an impact just because there's so little time, so they're not going to be able to make you feel attached to them.
I don't even think they have time to replace them in that, right? Like if they were to do it, it would just be like there's just so much to try to like encapsulate in the story, and I just feel like, you know, a regular like 1 hour movie is just not gonna cut it, or 2 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and predict that it will be just the two of them fighting, doing their thing.
They start
Kira's
boxing.
gonna get his chance and go, haha, learned your name, bitch. Kill him. And then the next like ending of the movie, like the next fourth of the movie, is gonna be dedicated to L being like, haha, surprise, bitch, I already knew it's you. I just set up this elaborate
I was gonna say that
like
a thing to go in like effect.
Yeah, like some people start discovering stuff that he left behind, and it's literally just he left behind a puzzle just to say fuck you.
Yeah, I'm so upset I didn't say it now because that's what I was gonna say earlier. I just thought it would have been a bit far fetched. I'm not even kidding. I was gonna say that. Yeah, I feel like it would have been, you know, L. If he were to be killed, it would be this whole elaborate thing that he just set into like he set these plans into motion that would only activate if he like died, and then he would know exactly who the killer was.
Yeah.
Also, there's also like this really kind of cringy moment in the trailer where
go on.
There's like a bunch of these teens that go into a house and they just have this seance. They just have a bunch of candles like in a circle and they're holding hands, and in the middle it says like Kira, and you just see this guy smile. And I don't know, it's just when I see stuff like that, I'm like, I don't really like it's just I kind of laugh. Yeah, it's because in the show it's like, okay, it was clear he had a following, right? But it was like all on the internet. But in this one, it's like, oh, he has a church now. I understand. It's like,
well, that's cool. I think it'll be neat to see that used as a sort of character development thing. I bet like after he starts doing some shit for a while within the first fourth or like the beginning of the second fourth of the movie, he'll see that on like TV or something like that, and then Ryuk will say some line that's like, looks like you got a fan club, and then he'll have a dirty smirk and be like, this is my shit, and then he kills like 12 people right after that.
Kills everyone in the fan club. How about that? He's like,
oh my gosh.
He says,
you've all been sent to like they're all his sacrifices is what it is. He just kills everyone there. He said, if you really love me, you'll text me all your full names and addresses. And it's like, okay.
So
what if it's an alternate universe where like the death note is super specific? You gotta like write down blood types. It's like it just starts writing for you. It's like, can you sign here? like initial here.
You know what? I think my hunch for the movie is it's gonna be taken in a route that is like, hey, I hate how in the show that Elle died. That sucked. How about not like make it a useless thing? Because that was also my least favorite part of that. Like when Elle died, I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. He doesn't
Really?
he doesn't have as big of a foil with anyone else. Like no one else can like really hold their own.
It was pretty. I think it was a pretty weak move. Yeah.
Yeah. The smile right after, that was like the cap of the show for me. And then it was just a slow descent for him just making stupid mistakes and then getting caught.
Yeah, it definitely went from there's also like a noticeable kind of, I don't want to say drop off, but like it goes from thing like, you know, he had the Death Note, but it was super complex in the way that he used it. And then I feel like after, you know, this girl being able to just kind of see people's names, it just becomes like this face roll, like where he's just like, oh, there's a person we don't like. Well, they're dead. It's like, yeah, I don't know. The show feels like it started going in this really weird direction. I think it was supposed to kind of, you know, emulate this fact that he was kind of falling apart and like his plans weren't, you know, going as planned anymore.
Mm.
But still, it was just a bit jarring to watch when you just kind of like before he was like this intelligent, like, you know, everything was thought out 60 steps in advance to more of just, you know, kill this person, we don't need him.
Which actually, talking about live action stuff, what about that One Piece? And this one is going to be a series according to what's been put out.
Whoa, I don't even know about this.
Oh yeah, so they're going to do Oda put out a thing that somebody did a rough like translation of, and it was basically him being like, yeah, I told them that I don't want to betray like longtime fans of One Piece, and so at the core I want it to be like the spirit of One Piece. I don't want to disappoint my long time like fans or whatever. But he was like, but yeah, he was like, I'm happy with who's in charge. Budget wise, Japanese live action is not going to cut it. It won't get the charm of One Piece. So basically he was just like, I wanted a bigger budget, and Hollywood has a bigger budget than what like productions in Japan are. I feel like
why? I don't
I feel yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, and I think that's why I'm okay with waiting and giving it a shot. How to explain? The live adaptation of Death Note, the concept is so simple when you look at it. It's okay, kid gets power hungry, grows up to this like godlike item, and how he abuses it as he gets more power hungry essentially. And so it's pretty clear cut, like, oh, if you do it this way, you won't fuck it up. But with One Piece, it's like there's wacky characters, like not all the characters are human. There's multiple non-human characters. It's not like, oh, it's just these two characters are not human. And so I think it's going to be a really big challenge. And so I think that's why I'm willing to give the One Piece adaptation a bigger chance, because there's so much that can be changed but still make it work. And so
there's a certain passion that's there, and you can pretty easily replicate it if you're trying. But like, I don't know. It's going to come down to what their creative differences are. You know what I mean? Like the spirit will be there, but you might not be as into every character or whatever as like One Piece. Depending on how long it's a series, right?
Yeah, it's a series.
Yeah, depending on how long it goes, because One Piece has been around forever, and everyone's had their time in the limelight. You know what I mean? Unless it's going to be a really long-running thing, I don't know if it'll have time to really soak you into that like character love. You know what I mean?
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I think that'll be a huge weakness in it. So I'm very interested to see what happens, more so than when I first heard about the Death Note one.
I'll probably watch it in the first couple episodes. Every one that finishes, I'll say, wow, still don't give a shit. But then as soon as they pull out that trump card, start making you, they're like, Hey, you ready to cry now? That's what I'll be in.
I can't speak too much on like One Piece specifically, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of titles out there that like, because you guys heard me say like why, right? And it's
Yeah.
just
Oh no. Yeah.
there's so many things that like I don't like. Why do they want to make it live action, right? I feel like anime is such a unique like medium to begin with that it's the only like it's the reason that such unique things like One Piece are like able to thrive as much as they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like with the Ghost in the Shell adaptation as well, it's like people were so excited about it, but you go back and watch these movies and they're amazing, right? They're like totally stunning. It's like there's so many in like the realm of animation, right? You can control like every single variable and like make this experience exactly how you want it to be. But like when it comes to live action, it's like there's so much things you have to give up. So it's like even things that are basic where it's like, is Luffy even gonna look like Luffy in the movie? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like things that are
Exactly.
super basic like that. But then there's like other things where it's like that, you know, those shonen power up moments where you're hearing like, you know, what they're thinking in their heads, or you know, this flashback to when they were kids and things like that. It's like how you can't put that into live action. That's like something that even though it's a trope in anime, it's something that's still so unique to anime as a medium. I just don't, I don't know, there's so many things like that. Same thing with Death Note. It was like I said, it was so intricate and like so much more nuanced that like him using the Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to see inside like the worlds and like the lives of these characters, so you like understood their motives and like how they thought so well. And in live action, you won't get that. You're gonna get like this angsty teenager who has a notebook that kills people. And in Death Note, like, you know, to be fair, in essence, you know, brought down to its simplest form, that is what it is. But it's so much more than that when you watch it as an anime, because you feel like you really start to understand them as a character, and like everyone, even L, his dad, who is like one of the detectives trying to chase down, you know, Kira and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's my issue with whenever there's like a live action adaptation. I don't think that there will. I won't say that there's like never going to be an adaptation that's pretty okay, but I just think that if you're ever pinning it up against the anime that it's being adapted from, I don't think there's going to be a live action that beats it.
Mm.
Some things are definitely suited for a transition into a Western audience, and
Yeah,
some things just
Are
you
not.
you have to you would have to sacrifice everything to basically just make it an anime but with real people. Like that would be the only
hmm
way that a One Piece adaptation would really make people happy, you know what I mean? Like there
yeah,
would have to be overexpression on everyone's faces, though that's not the thing that
yeah,
Western actors do. That's more of a Japanese actor thing. And even then, like movements won't be the same, the camera angles won't be the
exactly.
same. Like it's just I'm still going to watch it, but it's it's going to have to catch like within the first couple 3 or something like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I
You'll
Same.
understand.
you'll know if it's going to sink or swim within 3 episodes.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I agree completely.
Although I will say, I was against it really, really hard at the beginning when they announced a Cowboy Bebop. When I think about it, it's inspired by so much Western stuff
Yeah,
that
I
I
was just
think
gonna say.
it could do really well depending on who they get for the like as the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
It'll all be up to the actors in that case.
we are on such a crazy wavelength right now, right? Because when I was saying like that I wasn't gonna say, you know, every adaptation would be awful, because when I was saying that, what I was thinking of was Cowboy Bebop in specific, just because there are certain anime like Baccano as well, where that are like
Mhm.
just super Western inspired and
Ah,
almost feel like live action Western movies that were just, you know, adapted into anime, right? It feels like
Mm-hmm.
they took a step
mhm.
backwards almost. So I feel like yeah, there's still a lot of things that they won't be able to really capture about Spike, you know, things like that. It's more things that are just, you know, animation specific, like
Mhm.
you know, just the way like these characters move and like the way they act and things like that. But I feel like yeah, I could see if it was handled by people who cared about the, you know, the original show and movie, you know, like actually were fans of the product. I feel like then
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like a Western adaptation of things like that, like Bakano or, you know, Cowboy Bebop, I feel like those could do well, definitely.
Mhm. Just get me a Spike that has a buttery smooth voice like Steve Blum, and I'll be fine. I
Yeah.
will be fine.
Give me a man who listens to jazz. Any man, doesn't even need to look like him.
Exactly.
I was
I
gonna
need
say.
him to.
Oh
no,
no,
go for it.
sorry. Continue.
I just a stupid bit. I need him to scream, "Look at me! Does it look like I have any money?"
Oh my god.
Oh
Give me
my.
a scene like that, and ooh, I'm in.
No, I was gonna say, Ken said, what are the thoughts on the FMA live action?
Another thing that is kind of iffy.
I've seen the cast list that they've put out, and I do like them for the most part. I think they've done a great job. I will say I don't know how good it'll be, but I do like that they're not staying in Japan for locations. They're actually traveling to European places to film, which I think will definitely help the film out.
It's Western at heart, but
Yes.
it still sticks to some of those tropes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That I think that will come down to acting and special effects.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of crazy shit going on in Full Metal, and there's also going to have to be some pretty sweet fighting choreography too.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a crazy next couple of years with all these live action adaptations.
If they want another dimension, just call up the people who made Ganso and just do that. Be like, man, could you imagine if, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Ganso, right?
Oh
But, like,
my fucking god!
imagine if they
yes.
just took some really like action heavy arcs from One Piece and just used the same team that made that movie.
Damn.
Like, if they want 3D, why don't they just do that? Like, I don't understand. You know, like, why go to live action? I just it feels like you would get so much better of like an effect. I don't know what they're going for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people who are fans of One Piece, either the manga or the show, are not gonna, they're not gonna be like, wow, finally the thing I've been waiting for, that live action adaptation. Like,
it might be an effort to get more like a bigger Western audience, because I mean, we are in America in the minority. It's getting a little bit more popular over the years, as it always has, but like probably not at the speed that most people would like. So it's cool that people in Hollywood, big heavy hitters with money, can go ahead and say, "Hey, remember that one thing? Man, that was fucking. Hey, what if we did like a movie? Hey, we maybe get people in this anime thing."
like,
I want to say that it's a pure intention like that. Like the guy making the Death Note movie is like, man, what if this turns out good? I can like get my friends into fucking manga and anime. Hell yeah.
I like how your impression of them, they just were like heavy on anesthetics. Their tongue doesn't work. They're just like, "Hey, dude, you get it." It's just, I like to imagine there's just these people in Hollywood with no tongues that are just
everybody slurs their words together, and they all understand each other perfectly.
They're constantly just with mouths full of like maple syrup, and they're just trying to pitch ideas to each other.
Eating syrup sandwiches and exchanging
Holy
ideas.
Holy shit.
To wrap up, let's finish off with video games, since that was brought up earlier. What have you guys been playing? I won't lie, I've now that I've got a capture card, I sat down like a couple nights ago and I streamed Splatoon 2, and I've been playing the heck out of it. It's so good. I forgot how much I really enjoyed the first one. There's still things that annoy the hell out of me for Splatoon 2. I hate that if you want to do like team battles with your friends, you can't queue up with just 3 and then have like a random person put in. Like, you have to have 4 people, otherwise it will not work. I also hate that it's their voice chat app or whatever. Ugh, that's a disaster. I don't know what they were thinking. It's so bad.
I know exactly what they were thinking. There are kids that are going to play these games, and they do want a mostly, like, younger audience. But they don't want fucking people like us, our age, but who are more assholes, coming in yelling at these kids over mic, being like, "Who's this fucking idiot God, you don't even know how to cover it. Why are you even using the roller? Everybody knows the jet squelcher's the shit. Come on. That'll traumatize those kids. So they make it really difficult. And for all the kids who want to get in on that voice chat, they'll just be able to chat with other kids.
You know what? Maybe that was their thinking, but
It's really bad in design, but
maybe they were thinking, wow, these people are playing Splatoon. They clearly need something better to do. How about they talk to each other? No, I've never played Splatoon. I've heard really good stuff.
God damn, Salmon Run? Salmon Run's the shit.
Oh, it is. I played with some of my subs like a night or two ago, and my friend Russell. What was it? I think we played about 6 hours of the I think it was 5 hours of the regular, like teaming up in 4s. And then Salmon Run, the rest was all just Salmon Run. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, so I remember like playing the first game of it. Like I only just played it yesterday because I haven't had too much time. But when it came up and I found out that like the weapons are randomized each round, I was about to say, "Oh, that's stupid." But as soon as I like thought, I was like, "No, this is good. I want it this hard. I want to get fucked." Like, and as it turns out, it's actually kind of hard.
No, it is. It's have you leveled up yet?
I'm just about to get out of part-timer.
Oh my god,
I haven't played it too much, but
you're in for something. It gets definitely more harder. I think we ranked up twice.
Okay.
And so
yeah, because part-timer is the first level up off of whatever the first one is.
No, yeah, it definitely changes the location. Oh my god. Oh no. It was so hard when we got done because it was like basically like certain bosses will like just spawn out of everywhere and then you're just like trying to run away from them until you can survive once you get like the minimum orbs needed.
I'd say probably my least favorite ones of the bosses to deal with is the giant, I think it's the steelhead shark or whatever, where he launches a bomb off the top of his head.
Oh, yes, I hate him. Ugh, so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, he's just a little too big to aim up quickly, and that bomb just has a little bit too much health, and like, you never get him on the first hit. And then the other one is the bomb guy, where he's got two different little salvo shooters on his left and right, and you have to throw a bomb inside. Because if you're by yourself or you're like off to the side for a second and you have to deal with them alone, you're only going to get one off. And those bombs, they have more range than you think they do.
That's what my problem is. I always like aim it and then I'm like, oh no, it went way further or too short. Wow. But yeah, once you get to Go-Getter, it's difficult.
Well, I'm glad that it gets harder with levels too.
Oh no, yeah, it does.
In the level that I'm at right now, it's like a couple are more difficult than others, and we've definitely failed a couple times, but sometimes like some of them will just be cakewalks. Just depends on the combination of like stuff that they toss at you. Like, okay, the most difficult one I'd say was there was a fog of war, and you know the guys that are snipers and they'll shoot at you from the sides? There was a fog of war, and there were two of those guys on opposite sides of the map that you couldn't kill. And they were shooting at you and your team constantly while you were trying to do the normal thing, just getting eggs from bosses and whatnot. It was, oh God, you constantly had to move. It was a change of pace that I was not ready for.
Oh no, yeah, same. But really, aside from Splatoon 2, I haven't really been playing anything else video game-wise.
Yeah, really it's just been PUBG and Crash Bandicoot for me, other than Splatoon.
Wow, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, you know, that insane trilogy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, man. No, I was saying good stuff, man.
What about you, Ty? You playing anything?
The most I've been messing around with recently is Escape from Tarkov. I was lucky enough to get into, have friends that can get me into the alpha. And then, yeah, I've been playing that a bit. I haven't had too much time for it, but it's really something. It's just I think it's like it's when it comes out, I think it's gonna be such a popular game. The raids, it's so like because it's like it's like a hardcore like survival type of game, right?
Hmm.
And it's there's no other game that like I don't know if have you heard of Escape from Tarkov, Tyler, by the way?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, okay, so put simply, like I had said before, it's a survival game. You go on these raids. You can kind of form parties, but not really, because the system it's basically like ultra realistic, like everything, right? Like you can customize guns to like the nth degree and stuff. And what you are doing is you essentially get dropped onto these maps where there are loot just kind of scattered like all over the place. Um, and you are essentially trying to bring loot back to your stash. So like you would go into a map, you find as much stuff as you can, and you try to find an extraction point and leave.
Okay.
The reason that it's so difficult, right, is because the game is like hyper realistic. It's you can control the speed at like which you walk and like how like low you're crouched, right? Uh, and it's you'll be in a building and you can hear someone like open a door on the second floor. So like it's constantly just this like you're just constantly just like in this stealth mode trying not to die, because if you die in a raid, you lose anything that you brought into it or anything that you found while you were there. So it's
Wow.
definitely like a game that you have to like pay attention to a lot, and like it takes a lot of like concentration, but it's really fun once you start being able to like actually evac without being killed, and like you start getting like a bit of a stash going. It's definitely really enjoyable. You can also queue with people, but one of the big thing is that since it's supposed to be again like hyper realistic, there's no UI. So like it takes a lot of communication. So I can jump into a game with people, like say if me and Ame were playing, or all three of us, right? We would all jump into a game, but we would all be at different points in the map, and we would just have to find each other. So like you would have to just tell me I'm on the third floor now. Don't shoot the guy that walks in the room right now. And it would just you would have to constantly be talking like that, because there would be no indication that it's them. You would be put into the same like server and like the same game at the same time, but that's it. Like that's all the help they give you. You have to find each other in the map. You have to communicate that it is that you are who you say you are. Because the friends that I play with, there's like 3 or 4 of them that are all in the I think it's in beta right now. Yeah, there'll be times where like they'll be queued together, and one person will walk into a room without saying anything. So one of my other friends will just shoot them, because they'll be like, oh, there's an intruder, and they'll just kill them right there. Like so it's really interesting though. Yeah, it takes a lot of concentration, but it's really enjoyable experience, I think.
That sounds really cool. It sounds like
Don't you have to manually reload as well?
Yeah,
manually?
It's like not, I wouldn't say manually. There's 2 different types of reloads though. Yeah, there's like if you tap R, your player will just drop the mag on the floor, right? Because like I said, it's hyper realistic. If you tap R, you're trying to do a quick reload. So what he'll do is he'll just drop his mag onto the floor and then put a new one in straight from his vest. And if you
Okay.
hold R, he takes the mag out and then puts it into his vest, and then takes the other one out of his vest and puts it into the gun. It's also
Okay.
realistic in the sense that if you have one mag that had 8 bullets in it, and then you switch it out for one that had 20, the one in your pocket now has 8 bullets, and the one that you put in still has 20. It's like, it's really interesting the way that things work like that in the game. There's a few other things like that. Grenades and things like that they work so like the sound from like almost everything. Like everything sounds amazing. And they work like realistically from like, so if you throw a grenade into a room, like at the end of a hallway, you don't hear the grenade just explode. You hear it kind of echo through, like you hear like reverb and things like that. It sounds like really realistic. So the game's awesome in that sense. It's definitely challenging,
I am definitely a sucker for really good sound design in video games. So, oh god, when I hear that good shit, like that's what keeps me really interested in PUBG a lot. Like I'll still play with friends, but I'll play with headphones. And whenever those tense moments come around where people are
Yeah.
like getting close and you're like trying to discern in what direction they might be coming, oh my god, it's so good. Like Having to use my ears in a video game more than just like audio cues for things,
Yeah.
but discerning where things are, neat.
Oh yeah. There's NPCs in Tarkov that are called scavs. You know, they're scavengers, right? They're supposed to just be like they're supposed to emulate like other players who would be doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Except
I
they don't
like the name
attack the
Scav, by the way. It
yeah, everyone
sounds
just
so
calls
dirty.
them yeah, they call them scavs because they're just so like it's really funny. They're all because it's set in Russia, right?
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, that makes
I think
sense.
I think the funniest thing about it, right, is that you'll just be in this like this building by yourself, and it's so quiet, like it's pitch silent, right?
Mhm.
And you know you're going through like a filing cabinet, and then you hear like a door creak open, and then just a bunch of like Russians screaming out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh no, they know I'm here!" And you just slam the thing closed, and you start sprinting, and you just hear like "Aga, aga, aga," and just shooting behind you, and they're just trying to kill you. They also don't attack each other, so like once one starts shooting at you, anyone in the near vicinity that heard that is coming for you now, and you're just like, "Oh my god." There's still some bugs too that are pretty funny. They'll shoot through walls on occasion. They don't do it all the time, but there's still some bugs like that they'll just like if you make too much noise in a room, a shotgun shell will just come through like through the wall next to you, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The realistic gun physics, I will say, if you enjoy that stuff, that's like hyper realistic gameplay or
Mm-hmm.
gunplay, check out a game. It's on Steam, and it's only $5. It's called Receiver. It's a game where you have to do everything. You have to pull back the pump of the guns. You have to put in all the bullets manually. If it's a magazine, you got to pull it out, look at it.
Yeah.
You have to count how many bullets are in it.
Oh yeah,
gotta
that's
put them all
that
in.
happens in PUBG. Yeah, it's like that's like I don't know if you have to pull back the gun like that and stuff. But yeah,
No. It
Yeah.
literally, it's just the gun is floating and you're moving it around. And whenever you do everything, you have to hold it to the side. Make like okay. Here's one thing. There's a 6-shot in this like a Magnum essentially, and it's got the little the thing where like the barrel comes out to the side and the bullets all come out. But
Yeah.
the physics in that are also really precise. So if you pull it out and you start shaking the shells out, there's no guarantee that all of them will come out easy if you don't hold it correctly and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And in a tense
That's-
moment, you have to just like get all that stuff back in. You have to hold the gun at the side in the correct way to get all the rest of the bullets in after the shells are out.
Wow.
Like, oh, it's nuts. Like watch the little intro video and oof, it's wild. I spent like a week playing just that game and I still couldn't beat it. It's a very short game. You have to find 11 tapes and listen to this weird story that this guy is telling and put them in order. But you're just walking around this like skyline apartment complex type thing where there are gun sentries and stuff, and you're there with a gun. You find bullets and you try to find the information for this thing you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's
Wow.
very cool.
That sounds really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I may have to check that out. I don't know. I feel like I have so many video games that I have to go through.
Not same. There's just I could start counting right now and it would take way too long.
I'm actually watching the videos talking about. Yeah, it looks really fun.
And you said it was only 5 games?
$5
or 5 games. Oh my god!
Just pay 5 games.
Yeah, you have to
Oh my
actually have to
goodness.
bring 5 games, hard copies of Bad Rats.
Here, I'll put it in the stream chat too. You can check it out. It's a good game.
I feel like that's a good stopping point. Finish it off with a fun game. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, guys.